Hi, my name's Dale. I'm glad to meet you via the video. If you have any further questions after this, you feel free to email me again. I'm here to help you. This is just to fulfill the extra credit, but also to get you started with some scholarship. When you go out to Google, you can find a lot on animal testing, but there's billions of things. Animal testing debate or medical. You can be very specific, and then when you put a colon there, um, you could put in ethics, debate, argument, and everything after the colon is going to search inside animal testing medical, or whatever keywords you put in. So what you're going to get with this is more rational arguments than you might have found otherwise. So it's university, and they're looking at talking points. Or it might be highly regarded publishers like the BBC, NPR, that sort of a thing. Not to diminish the voices of people who feel passionate about this, but are not represented by a major media outlet. But this helps you get into maybe like a reporting where people show both sides of an issue rather than just one side. Maybe they talk about evidence. Maybe they talk about a group of people feeling that way instead of just one person. So that this one search may help out. Second thing I'm going to show you is the library catalog. And then the third thing I will show you is how to get into discipline-specific databases to search on this sort of thing. Library catalog. This is, if you think of like a convenience store where they have just a little bit of everything, but it's not comprehensive, this is a great place to go, the catalog, because you can get a little sample of all the different disciplines. So there might be health sciences, there might be medicine, might be psychology, psychiatry, there might be ethics groups, philosophy, social scientists. It'll mix all of this together so we can see who's talking about this. Animal, and I have to spell it correctly. The reason that I put it in quote marks is because I want those two words to stick together. This works out on the open web too. If you don't use quote marks, it might find animal here and testing there. So this helps. Also, let's say for topics that have a lot written about them, and animal testing has been talked about for decades, maybe centuries. So what I would like to do is get things that talk about this specifically and not just on the side. So that would be, I could either do the subject or it's in the title of the work. I'm going to do it in the title. So it's only things that are about that main topic that'll show up. This will help a lot. When you're going into the health sciences or biology, animal testing is a part of their culture right now. And there is a group committed to checking whether or not ethical standards are being followed on campus. It's called IACUC. The American Association for Laboratory Animal Science puts this together. But there's one on most campuses, and they are caretakers of things like that. And they use books like this, alternatives or methods or all sorts of different things. Here's some political, all sorts of different things going on with this one. It's really good. There's a lot of things to look at. If you wanted to go into like these alternatives of animal testing, you should note that it was published in 2006 and it might be a little old. Let me show you a trick to getting around that. Let me very slowly, the link is not working. Well, what you could do, why is that not working? Okay, maybe I'll have to open the link in a new tab. Something must be wrong with my mouse. Uh-oh. Okay, the catalog's good. Normally what would happen is it would pop up in a little window. So if this one looks good, but it's kind of out of date, I still recommend looking at it, but it's like, it's 15 years ago. You can go down into the subjects, and you can see, is there something else that we could look at? Animal experimentation, alternative toxicity testing. So you can look in this book by just clicking in any of these links right here. But you could go and cruise around and see things like that. Oh, here's another one. And again, it's not working. That's weird. I feel like I've broken the catalog. Maybe something's going on. Let's see what the subjects they use in this one. Animal experimentation, moral and ethical aspects. Animal welfare. Let's see moral and ethical aspects. So if you just click on that subject, it does another catalog search, and it's just in the subject. And all of a sudden, there's a whole bunch more for you to look at. But let's go back to our original search. Out of these 2,000 results, how do we know which ones are relevant to what we're looking at now? You can go into the date. I'm going to move ahead briefly. So if you wanted to look at historic stuff, you could, but let's see what's happened in the last 2 years. Are things happening with technology? Look at that, 2020. So this must be like a major book that they're looking at. Animal testing replace. There's gender. There's very specific case studies. So there's a lot to get into. If we go over here on the side, so how many did we get? 281. You can narrow down just to peer-reviewed journals right here, and this would fulfill what you're doing for your assignment. So there's only 41 at this point that have been published in the last 2 years that show up in the catalog. This isn't all the articles. But what you can do is go through all of those subjects. I'll click on Show More. So when we went into the library record and you could see that there were subjects written there, this is a list of those subjects in order of how many times they've been used. So we can go in and see, okay, it's in life sciences. This is where I'm going to look for discipline specific. Life sciences and biomedicine. There's also maybe animals. So zoology. It's in physical sciences, chemistry. Oh, technology is in there. Or that'd be the engineering. Medicine, obviously, is going to be a big one. Materials science. I was trying to find social sciences because a big part of the sustainability of this is whether it's socially acceptable or not. So you can cruise around in those. If you want to look at the full text, that's all you have to do, is do it that way. Some of these are going to be very, very, very specific, and some of them are going to be very open. So these are things that you can look at. But let's go into the databases. Are you familiar with databases? Have you used this before? This is what professors and scholars use more than the catalog. And typically, if someone knows or has a favorite database, they'll recommend it. They'll say, oh, go to PAIS, or go to Academic Search Ultimate, or go to EBSCO. If you don't know those, you can go by subject. And so for this one, we could go to biomedical engineering, biology. I recommend that you try those out. Computer science, maybe there's like mathematical models. This could be all over the place, couldn't it? So the first one that I'd like to start with is, I want to see what's going on. I want to look at sociology. So this is sociology. We know that there's a reason for animal testing, and we know that it's on the technical side of things. It's economically more viable or socially more viable to be testing on an animal versus like human participants. But how do people feel about animal testing? This might be part of that moral and ethical and philosophical. So if we go to this one is looking at people and how they feel about this. We can just do that same search, animal testing. We know we're not in the biological sciences, so I think we're okay there, but maybe we could even put it in the subject. Let's say it's in the abstract. No, let's do subject. Now to abstract. I'm indecisive. You can experiment with this. There's only 23, but you get attitudes. So if your ailment is cured, if your disease is cured, then what do people feel about that? It's like, well, I suppose it's okay. There's ethics. There's talking about the advocacy. There's the legal aspects. There's more legal. So this is good. This is like the people aspect. And so if you're looking for that sort of a thing, this is a great way to go. But let's look in, let's see. Let's look in the life science. Oh, let's look in medicine. So when you go to this list of subject databases, when you go to a major subject, so there's medicine, sometimes the librarian will put in their favorite one. Sometimes they'll just give you a complete list. So for this one, my favorite one is called Medline. Medline. And there's so many of them. Let's do the EBSCO one. It's the same content. It's publicly funded research. And it's just presented in different formats. Animal testing. Let's see what happens with this one. So we're just in medicine. There's 8,423. So we might have to add some keywords. Let's come up in date. And now there's only 2,900. Go to those subjects again. Where did my subjects go? Okay, major heading. And what we can do here is, let's look at animal welfare. Let's look at, I remember you interested in specific solutions, skin irritancy tests, risk assessment, animal rights. So whatever discipline you're in, they're all going to be looking at it from different areas. Ooh, xenotransplantation research. Have you heard about this? I think it's where they grow an ear on a pig, or there was recently a heart that was grown in a pig, human heart, but it was incubated and grown, and then the pig was sacrificed and the heart was transplanted into a man, and he lived for a month. Did you hear about that? That was just like in February. Conversations like that, is that ethically okay? So all sorts of conversations going on in this one. Okay. Whew. How do you feel? Let me know how it goes. By the way, most of these databases have little citation generators. So when you click on it, you can grab the MLA citation right here. And you can also email yourself an article. And when you need the full text, just look for linked full text, PDF full text, find it, get it, and it should send you that full text. Okay, let me know how it goes. I think it's a fascinating topic, and I'm interested to hear how it works with you.